Hello, and welcome to Church at Home with Rachel for Tuesday, the 3rd of May. Some of you might know that I do quite a bit of devotional work every morning. It sort of gets me set for my day. It's my spiritual exercising, I guess, or discipline. Well, one of the things I like to use is this book called The President's Devotional by Joshua Dubois. And yesterday's passage was awesome. It's just simply called Let's Laugh. He says here, laughter is the closest thing to the grace of God. And that's a quote from Karl Barth, the Harper Book of Quotations. And then he quotes Psalm 126, verse 2. Then our mouth was filled with laughter and our tongue with shouts of joy. Then they said among the nations, the Lord has done great things for them. And Joshua himself says, 6-year-olds laugh an average of 300 times a day, while adults only laugh 15 to 100 times a day. Let's indulge our inner 6-year-old and laugh a few extra times today. And his prayer is, Dear God, increase our laughter. Let the sides of our mouths curl up into a smile more than normal. Let joy be in our hearts. Amen. That was a perfect thing for me to read yesterday. Some of you may know if you've been following along that my husband and I are in the process of moving. I say process because we are literally, it's like stage by stage by stage. We found out in February that our landlord, where we rent this house that we are living in right now, is rented and he would like to sell the house. So we have to get out. So we went through the process of going to the bank and finding out that we did indeed qualify for a mortgage. We bought a house. We took possession on April the 8th and we don't move in. This lease isn't up till the end of May, which gives us time to do some work because the house was, well, it just makes me laugh. It was laugh or cry because I know there's lots of people out there who really like dark, deep, rich colors, but I am a light person. I need to have light. I need to have joy and happy colors and deep dark brown all over the house with deep maroon in the master bedroom. Not a happy color for me. So we've painted it a nice light yellow, kind of a butter color, and put in new flooring. And my husband is like my hero doing all this incredible work. And I'm his apprentice. I hold his hammer and I pick up the garbage and I lug flooring from one room to another and throw old flooring into the back of the truck and things like that. And he's very patient with me. But lately it's been laugh or cry because it's so like we're getting there. We have less than a month now to get everything done and the crunch is on and it's feeling a little bit overwhelming. And I've just recently been on the phone with the company that does the insurance for the mortgage and they want to know all of our ins and outs and how much they're going to, like whether or not they'll insure us on our mortgage, which we have to have mortgage insurance. I'm a first time buyer anyway. God help me. And so, now I'm in that panic place of what happens if they say, like I'm type 2 diabetic and not much else is wrong with me, but like, are they going to jack my rates up or how are we going to afford this? Very, very unfaithful of me because I keep worrying. I keep panicking. What am I going to do? And then I read something that makes me laugh and sets me back and says, wait a minute. Get control of yourself, kid. This is crazy. If you really do believe that God is helping you and helping you to figure things out, then trust. Just trust. And I read something like this from Joshua Dubois' book about laughter. And the part that made me laugh the hardest was the fact that it was Karl Barth who said laughter is the closest thing to the grace of God. Because you see, Karl Barth is this he's deceased, was this German theologian that I had to read in my first year of seminary. He wrote like volumes and volumes of books. And we were supposed to read, this one volume was like 500 pages long and it's translated into English from German. And it's like, oh my heavens, like first year theology student, and I wasn't even sure I wanted to be a priest if I was called. And it was like, oh my gosh, this is going to kill me. And so Karl Barth was like, he was my nemesis. I had struggled so much to understand him. And then somebody told me once that really Karl Barth himself said something apparently to the effect that everything that we need to know comes down to the line from the children's hymn, Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. It's true, but it's like, really? I read all of that Karl Barth to get that? Seriously? And then to read this passage yesterday that said that Karl Barth talked about laughter is as close to grace, God's grace, as we can get. That was a laugh in itself. Karl Barth, my nemesis, the one that I think, someday when I retire, I'm going to try to learn how to read his stuff and understand it without getting a headache. To say something like that. So yes, it made me laugh. And it reminded me of how important laughter really is. It's too often we take ourselves in life so seriously that we can't realize, we can't focus on the fact that life is actually not so bad for us for the most part. There are lots of people in this world, like look at Ukraine right now, where people are struggling and they're fighting, literally fighting for their lives and their homes. And yet we see on the news these moments of musicians who pop up and do a little impromptu concert or symphony concert in the subway, or artists who are painting walls and giving hope and joy and peace to people who are otherwise really struggling. And here I am in Wainwright, Alberta, worrying that my life is like, oh my gosh, this is so hard. Get over yourself, Rachel. It's ridiculous to think that way. And so sometimes you just need to laugh. A few minutes ago, I mentioned that phrase, laugh or cry. And isn't that really the way it is? Think about it. If you're in a situation right now and you look around you and you think to yourself, okay, what can I do? Thinking about what you could have done differently that would have changed where you got to doesn't help. Worrying about the past, kicking yourself in the hiney because you screwed something up yesterday or the day before or a month ago, because I do that all the time. Kicking yourself for the decisions you made that got you to this predicament you're in right now doesn't do you any good. The only thing it might happen is after the fact, when you do a hot wash, you think about, your after action report, as my husband's work calls it. When you look back on it, you can say, okay, so in the future, I won't procrastinate, or I won't make that kind of decision, or I'll do more research, or whatever it is. But in this moment, when you're dealing with whatever crisis you're in, kicking yourself for whatever got you here isn't helping you here. In this moment, you have to make decisions about where do you go from here. And sometimes it's really obvious. If I'm in a bad spot, I can call somebody, or I can do this, or I can change this, I can do whatever needs to get done. Or sometimes you just have to sit there. There's nothing you can do in this moment. And when that happens, you can again either worry and give yourself heartburn and an ulcer, or you can just be present. And as a Christian, I always go to that place. Well, I don't always, I should. And I recommend that people should always go to that place where you just sort of sit yourself down and say, okay, God, here I am. I am in this position. I don't know how to get out of it, or I do know, but I can't do anything about it yet. And I'm anxious. What can I do? In that time, in letting God know how you're feeling, you're actually opening yourself back up so that God can come in. God may not give you that happy pill that says, okay, here you go, quick fix, instant release, McDonald's drive-through kind of answer. God might just simply say, okay, so we're here right now in this moment. Let's be. And something God might also do is God might say, let's laugh. Think about the absurdity of your situation, or think about something that if you're worried about something, you're sitting in the doctor's office waiting for him or her to walk through that door. You're worried about what's the response going to be. Worrying about it isn't going to do anything but drive your blood pressure up. Think about some really stupid knock-knock joke that your kids have just told you. Like my stepson used to say things like, knock, knock, who's there? Orange. Orange who? And you do it over and over. And then again, okay, orange. You say orange who? You say orange, God, I didn't say banana. I can't even remember how the joke went. That was just stupid. But hopefully my stupidity made you laugh. Sometimes we just need to laugh. Because in laughter, we give up our worry. If you're laughing, you're not worried about something, even just for a nanosecond. In laughter, you're giving yourself the opportunity to be open to hope and joy. Because laughter and joy, they come closely related. And when we get to that point, when we really actually can laugh, not a bitter, sarcastic laugh, but a real laugh, a good belly chuckle. When we do that, even if it's just for a moment, we know peace. So I pray that you laugh as many times as adults are allotted to laugh, only times 10 today. And if you can't figure out what to laugh about, try to find a child or an animal. My dog dude makes me laugh all the time. All the time. And sometimes all you have to do is look in the mirror because, hey, this will make you laugh. Anytime you need a pick-me-up or you're feeling depressed or something, even if you Google bad jokes, give yourself permission to laugh. Have a great day. Laugh hard, laugh lots, make other people laugh, but enjoy this day and be aware of God's presence in your life as you laugh in God's grace. Have a great day. God bless you, and I will see you again tomorrow for Church at Home with Rachael.